Um, I think it's a very, very complicated question because the impact of COVID-19 is very vast, and it is socio-economic, political. There is a huge change and shift in, pre-existing structures that is coming about or will come about in the times to come. And we are just grappling, we're just beginning to grapple with these changes and these shifts in our own lives. The semblance of continuity in our lives, professional, personal, social, has changed. There was quarantining, there was lockdown, which is of course necessary. Uh, we had to undergo social distancing, emotional distancing. I think it happened because a lot of us, from my experience, I was alone for some time, and I used to like kind of feel a bit aloof and cut off, even though I had people around me and I could reach out to them. So there are people in that scenario also. We have to think about them. And the psychosocial impact of it is vast. There is a lot of uncertainty and existential questions looming large. They gallow. There is not just discontinuity of our lifestyles and pre-existing patterns that we were following, but there is a question about our own future, uncertainties, job loss, maybe impending economic issues, problems, financial losses, and numerous other kinds of possibilities which exist. In fact, a lot of mental health helplines that were getting the panic calls initially in the initial days I was reading, they were mostly about the panic and the stress about regarding what if I get affected, what if I become a patient of COVID-19 and the discrimination that will follow. So there is this a very nuanced angle, socio cultural, economic angle to it. And the personal cost of it, of course, there is anxiety, stress, sleeplessness, perpetual, thought loop going on. And we have social media feedback loops, we have news cycles which are almost unbreakable. And they continuously, keep giving us these loops of, doses of the anxious anxiety triggering news about the counts and the, morbidity and the fatalities. Of course, we can't shut ourselves out from it completely, but a continuous dose of it, a huge amount of, or a very broad scoped exposure to such kind of high impact news 24/7, or the digital diet that the rich digital diet that we have, that we consume these days, is pretty harmful to any individual. So I think this is my take on it.
Shubrata ma'am, would you like to add something to it?
Yeah, just a little bit that the anxiety around actually contracting COVID is like really high, and I've seen the other side also, because we've been going to office all this while. I mean, like there's just been no, there's been no, let's say, cutback in the work that we're doing there. We have to do it. That's there. So the generally that the level of anxiety that I've seen is like really high. I look at it, I see it all around me. I have anxiety. My husband has anxiety. I see my colleagues at work, they have anxiety. Everyone, colleagues call up from different parts, saying that they are feeling depressed, they are feeling anxious, and what to do, how to deal with this. And unfortunately, that's the no one has an answer to it, because the pandemic is something totally unprecedented, and we are all doing the best that we can under the circumstances. And at this point of time, what I would like to say is that generally we have uh, this whole concept of being very brave and never talking about having distress. And that doesn't always work, because when there is a reason to feel distressed, yes, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to feel distressed. So I have this personal belief that, it is all right to say that you're anxious. It is just all right to say that you're feeling upset, you're feeling distressed. There's also this collective grief, when you read all these first person accounts of people facing COVID or losing someone to it. So we all feel it. We all feel that grief, and it's just all right to say that you're scared. It's just all right to say that you're anxious. So because that's the first step. When you say it, then only the rest follows. And the rest follows in terms of, I've always been talking about this, that mental health first aid is very important. and that can be sought from people who are close by, people who are there in your immediate circles. And there, that is one thing that sometimes we may be the ones who are seeking mental health first aid. Sometimes we may end up being the people who are giving that first aid. So both ways, when we are giving, also we need to be very careful. We need to be non-judgmental. We have to accept the other person's fears or distress as genuine, genuine. So that is one thing where we as a society can step up. We must. And also, if someone is finding it hard to cope, mental health first aid may not be enough. It's always a good idea to check in with a therapist or a counselor or a psychiatrist, someone professional who can help you navigate these difficult times as far as mental health is concerned.